It's our special time again, boys and girls. And when we absolutely have to pay attention to politicians, what do? That's right. We suck on little pieces of paper to concentrate and make everything shiny. Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times. That's right, it's episode 5 of the Wartown Times, and we're coming to the home stretch of this particular city council meeting. I want to thank you for returning, and if this is your first time catching us, for those who use ADHD as a crutch, there should be a link in the Christ box below to a video that's 10 minutes or less that should recap the last 4 episodes and the context of the past 10 years of this particular city council meeting. Which is funny, when I put these together, I really don't consider time. I do try to keep it under an hour, but in my head I go, I'm trying to deliver information to people who want to make a difference in their community and want to be informed about the information that does affect them. So, I mean, those who want instant gratification with knowledge aren't really going to be effective at City Hall anyway. So, even though I don't want to cater to the people like that, there's some drugs in the Christ box below to get you caught up. But either way, I do want to thank you for coming back to check this out. And so the last episode, we had to build some context with Charlie Bibbity Bib Bib, as we've already kind of raked character Lashley over the coals in this particular series. And so we want to get right back into it, right where we left off before the last episode, which was kind of a rabbit trail to see the bigger picture of things. And if you recall, before we did go on that excursion, where we left off was Madam Mayor asking character Lashley if his whole I want to audit things and table this and amend this and all this other good stuff was about a company called ICB maintaining a contract for the Vietnam Veterans State Memorial, to which he adamantly denied. So let's just go back to that real quick, and then we can pick up the rest of this city council meeting and enjoy the fireworks that ensue.
I mean, we're looking at less than a year since we paid for the renderings. I just don't see why we're having to throw everything out when we could probably save that money by continuing forward with the plans, with note that changes will be made to certain things according to the recommendations of our Vietnam veterans.
Question, is this motion you're asking to amend, to do a review, is a purpose to try to have us keep ICB on this project?
No, it has nothing to do with that at all. I'm more concerned with the amount of money that we've spent and have nothing to show for right now.
Which isn't entirely true, character Lashley. We do have something to show for the nearly $192,000 of our money that you voted for, and that's the renderings. We do have that to show, right? And so this is a once again a dictionary. It's kind of like the Bible of what words mean. And so we have the renderings, and so rendering B. In art, the presentation, expression, or interpretation of an idea, theme, or part. So that's like a doodle. So we do have something to show for it, and this is exactly what you and I paid nearly $192,000 for. So take a look. So here you have it, good citizens of Wartown, Georgia, the beautiful, beautiful plans that you've heard about since the beginning of this season, produced by ICB, that cost you and I nearly $192,000 to produce. So it took, I don't know how you can justify $192,000 worth of ink and paper to produce this sketch, but that's what we paid for. So I will let all of you art aficionados reply to me and let me know if you think that this sketch. Oh, excuse me. We have to use the word rendering because that makes it sound more expensive. Is worth $192,000. Just take a good long look at this sketch, rendering, and you let me know if you think that your money was well spent with this. And I would also like you to take note to the biggest structure that would be constructed by these plans in this company. It looks like the Warner Robins Visitors Information Center at the bottom of the screen, that big peach square looking thing, which I believe is a 2-story, 500 or 5,000 square foot structure. I think that would be the king's ransom of any contract, which looks like it would dwarf anything else on this doodle, even reminiscent of a Vietnam Veterans Memorial, but that's just me. So, I don't know. Do you think this was worth $192,000 of your money? And do you believe that any city council members or previous mayors who thought that spending that much money for this doodle is wise? Well, I'll leave it to you guys to make the decision. And please, we will bring this beautiful plans back to your eyes again because it's relevant. But just keep in mind that this particular doodle cost you and myself and anyone else who lives in Wartown almost $192,000 to produce. So chew on that for a minute and let's get right back into city council.
Any other discussion?
I just have one question. Where does Parks and Recreations play in all of this with this project now? As far as, not necessarily where they play in all this, as far as the account, where, under what umbrella was it? Because from my understanding, the Memorial Center is under Parks and Recreation, so there was a fund allocated for that when all this was created. Is that correct?
Well, it was put under that category. However, Recreation has really not been in charge of this project. I think it got put there because it was a park.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is City Councilman Derek Mack, and if you remember, we're still gauging these incumbent City Council members as they go based off of the common sense that they exhibit through their votes. So Derek Mack is bumping up. Let's keep that in mind. And he's asking who's going to control this project. Holly is informing us that it was put under Parks and Recreation because it was park, but it was just kind of put there. So me personally, I have some concerns with that, which we'll get into another time. So my suggestion to my city council member, Larry Curtis, is that a motion eventually be put on the floor for the Veterans Interest Committee, which has the Vietnam Veterans State Memorial Committee built inside of it. My suggestion is for Larry Curtis to make a motion for them to actually elect a treasurer, which they will in due time, and for them to control any funds that would be put forth towards the building and the actual control of this structure moving forward so that we can kind of keep it away from Parks and Recreation and specifically in the hands of those who this is for, which is the veterans and their interests. So anyway, but that's my suggestion. Larry, you can run with that or not. I'm sure a lot of other city council members don't like that idea, but we'll see if Larry's got the gumption to do that. So anyway, let's continue.
It didn't say exactly how much, but we were supposed to do 2 passive parks. That was the original plan. And then I think later on, there was some discussion, and they wanted to do 3 passive parks. So.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, I will amend the motion to have a full review from an outside source to look in the entirety through the accounts involved with both the I-75 Visitor Center and Vietnam Veterans Memorial.
Just for procedural clarity, should this motion on the floor carry, then the purchasing department will receive the request and handle it pursuant to our purchasing policy. But if the amount is over $10,000, it will have to come back to mayor and council for approval consistent with our policy.
Thank you, Attorney Mize. Any second? All right, second by Councilman Mack.
No, Derek. You were doing so good. And then you had to second this nincompoops motion. You lost some points. Let's keep going.
Any discussion? I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please state aye. Raise your hand. Opposers, the same. Okay. Have one. Councilman Curtis. Councilman Curtis, you care to state your opposition?
And there we have Larry Curtis once again standing in the gap for the little guy. The lone opposing vote. Larry Curtis, to a completely asinine idea that's going to cost the city, which is us, more money. So kudos to you, Larry Curtis. Keep up the good work, and let's hear his complete logic on why he opposed this stupid vote.
One, Councilman Curtis. Councilman Curtis, you care to state your opposition?
There's no need to spend extra money. Are we gonna take the money out of the money from the veterans? I mean,
No, sir, we will not do that. I will not allow it.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
But we have to find a place to pay for this. We have to find a way to pay for this bid. Sorry, before I go on, I'm going to go ahead and say motion carries. But to answer Councilman Curtis, the funds to pay for this review by an outside company, I believe the motion was, that it does cost money and it will come out of the city's funds outside of the board, which is outside of the Vietnam Veterans Memorial and the Visitors Information Center. So it will not come out of those accounts.
Thank you for your ironclad logic once again, Larry, and pointing out that it is completely ridiculous for the City Hall cabal and Character Lashley to use tens of thousands more of our dollars to pay for their pet crusade against Madam Mayor in the form of a stupid forensic audit. It is stupid. And thank you, Madam Mayor, for making sure that we, the people, know that any money that is going to be used for some silly forensic audit is not taken out of the funds that are going to be put forth for this Vietnam Veterans State Memorial. I appreciate that. I do have a suggestion to my city council member, and it's in the form of a motion that would be worded something like this. I move that any expenditures towards a forensic audit be specifically taken from the pay of all city council members who voted to have it done in the first place. That's a cool motion that I would like to see you put forth. And if you do it, you're not going to get any seconds, but it does make a point and shows who's willing to put their money where their mouth is on city council and if they truly believe in what they're voting for. Because if they did, somebody would second that motion and then the rest of them would vote for it and say, we're the ones that came up with this cockamamie idea of a forensic audit, so we should really pay for it, not the citizens of Wartown. So, Larry, if you do that, I give you my absolute word. There's a steak dinner for you and your family on board my starship.
So we're moving on to number 13, which is a discussion pay scale study to be discussed by Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. As a lot of you have known, a pay study or an adjustment to our pay scale is something that I've been somewhat passionate about, as the needs of our employees across the board, the entire umbrella of employees, all departments, is a concern of mine with their pay.
So now that we're past the whole forensic audit debate, debacle, amendment, motion, confusion crusade, Derek Mack is going to bring up the 13th item on the agenda, which the tone completely changes because now they're asking for pay increases, so it's more money, 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 money. So this is, I'll give a little leeway for this one because this is for the city as a whole, all the employees who haven't really gotten a pay increase since 2017, and we know, things are rough now. So I'm not going to harp too much about that. However, I would like to reiterate that my previous idea of the city council members who want this forensic audit that's going to cost tens of thousands of dollars, I want to reiterate that now is a really good time for them to step up to the plate and volunteer to have their own paid doc to pay for that forensic audit so that the rest of the city's employees can easily get their increase in pay without it taking a ding to the budget. So let's see how many statesmen there are on city council whenever this comes up again.
So when you look at, Madam Mayor, how could we come up with the rate? I guess that'll be in and around when we start to balance the budget. Okay, that's all I have at this time.
So to answer your question, Councilman Mack, and thanks for bringing this to the floor for the pay scale study discussion. I think most of us up here do recognize that a lot of our city employees are underpaid. That's our police department, our fire department, that's our public safety, all the ones that risk their lives every day for our city and our constituents. But then you have all of our essential workers, public works, your utilities, your water, your stormwater, and then we have all of the others that make up our city that should not be skipped over either. So I like the discussion of doing the pay scale adjustment to include everyone. So the way that would happen is it would need to go through one of our committees. We have a committee that is for finance, and that committee will be tasked with having discussions, looking at the numbers to see what this looks like when we get to our new budget, which won't be until the new budget doesn't start till July 1st, to see what that looks like, as far as money and as far as what the city has to make those payments. We may have to do it on a scale, priority, and address down, though that's going to be up to the finance committee to have those discussions and bring it back before mayor and council. And then as far as the pay study itself, there is another committee which is called operational efficiency, which was already, I already named those a couple of meetings ago, for the operational efficiency committee. They are the ones that are tasked with things like pay scales or any other study or new implementation for our city. So I'll make sure those two committees, finance and operational efficiency, are tasked with looking into this pay scale study. And I'm not sure which one you sit on, Councilman Mack, but of course the meetings are open to the public, so you can attend meetings as they discuss as well. All right, any other discussion regarding pay scale study? All right, now we're on to the citizens' comments.
So the idea of pay increases for city employees across the board is going to have to be looked at in July, which gives the city council members who voted for the forensic audit enough time to look into their souls and see if they're going to take one for the team and have the cost of a forensic audit taken out of their pay so that everyone else, all the other employees that they love, can easily, without obstruction, get their increases. Right, guys? It's going to happen. So now we're going to go into my favorite part, which is citizens' comments. And I'm so sorry, but this entire time it's really been needling me. If you look in front of Madam Mayor, there's like this huge stack of paperwork. It's like almost as tall as she is, for God's sake. I mean, the rest of these city council members, they got 5 or 6 sheets, right? But she has this ungodly Bible in front of her, paperwork that she has to go through. It's just really been bothering me this entire time. I don't know. Anyway, so now we're going to hear from a veteran who is going to get behind the podium and express with passion from the heart the frustration that he has, as well as the veterans and those who support the veterans in this community, the passion and frustration that we've had for more than a decade regarding the construction and moving forward of this Vietnam Veterans State Memorial. So without any edits or cuts, I want you to hear what this guy has to say and understand that he is voicing the thoughts and opinions of a lot of people here. So please pay close attention, because this is truly why this entire Wartown Time series started, and this is kind of the point that we're trying to drive home. He finishes it for us, really. So please pay attention to what he has to say and take it to heart. So here we go.
We have one individual coming up. You can go to this podium there. But before you start speaking, sir, I'm going to again acknowledge those individuals with our Vietnam veterans who are here. We do have an individual here from the national office. I think it's for DAV, and we have an individual here from the Georgia State office for the Vietnam Veterans of America. So thank you all. Our Vietnam Veterans Memorial and VIC has gotten national attention, a lot of attention from Robins Air Force Base as well, and other organizations around our state and our country, believe it or not. So those are just a couple of them that have come here to voice their support for this board, and we do appreciate you coming to join us. And again, thank you for your service and your continued sacrifice. I look forward to working with each of you, and please let me know if there's anything the city or I can do. All right, sir, you do have the floor. If you'll state your name and your address before you get started.
Gary Mendel. I live at 415 Westwood Drive in Warner Robins. Madam Mayor, council members, I'm here to address the Vietnam War. And I wasn't really aware of the problem with this. And I got to do a little research. I got some notes, and I'm just going to read what I found. WGXA News reports, this is in October 3rd, 2017. WGXA News reports that $170,000 for a purchase bid was proposed at that date. So it goes on to say, it says, people can expect to see the groundbreaking very soon to acquire this land. That was in 2017, okay? Fast forward on to February 18, 2022, last meeting. This is reported by WMAZ. I don't know if these numbers are right or not, but it said Warner Robins could soon spend $400,000 to buy land and complete the wall. Okay? Somewhere off Bucky's off Russell Parkway. This project has been in work for nearly a decade. Now think about that. For nearly a decade, this has been in works, and nothing that I know has been done. The vets have been advocating for a wall for a total of 12 years for a wall. 2 administrations, 1 4-year administration, 1 8-year administration, that's 12 years, nothing was done, has been done. Folks, that war was a terrible war. How many of you gentlemen and ladies was in the armed forces? Raise your hand.
Right, sir.
We have 1 gentleman there. That war was a terrible war. Those people went through the jungle to fight for this country. They didn't like the war, but they were sent. They did what they were sent to do. Okay? About 1 to 2 million people served in that Vietnam War. About 60,000 people gave their life. Okay? Gave their life for that. My understanding was that Buc-ee's, is that how you pronounce that, was built on the intent that the wall would be built. If I'm wrong, correct. Question, I have about 4 questions here. What happened to the $170,000 that was proposed in 2017? Somebody do some research on that, please. I understand also that some land was donated at one point in time. A family donated land. Is that a true statement? I don't know. I did research on this, like I'm new to it. Somebody donated land. What happened to that? So I guess my question to the council member, what's the problem? Are we going to fund the wall? We're not going to fund the wall. I mean, one or the other. Just be straight with people. That's all they want. I think you should fund it. You should fund it. Got a lot of vets out there. So I stand with them. I didn't serve. I served in the military 20 years. I lucked up. I guess I didn't luck up. Whatever. They cut the war before I got drafted. So
Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for your service and your sacrifice.
You're welcome.
And I hope you fill out an interest form for our Veterans Issues Board.
Build the wall.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else would like to? Anyone else?
So there is some commentary that I could add here, but for the sake of time, I'm going to hold all of my commentary on what this veteran said for episode 6, so that we can move forward with closing comments by City Council and Madam Mayor. But I hope that you heard the passion in his voice, and I will be speaking more on the context of what he had to say to City Council in episode 6. So let's keep going to closing comments by City Council and Madam Mayor.
All right, now it's time for council comments. All right, let's see. I got out of order because
I was
first last time. Councilman Lashley went first when Councilman Bibby, you were absent once. So now we're going to Councilman Holmes, who goes first this time. So please proceed, Councilman Holmes.
Thank you, Madam. Just like to thank each and every one of you that's present this evening. Thanks for your continued support. Thanks for your input in what we're trying to do. And to the young lady, I know the last name Williams. I like how you closed, that we work as a team and not for personal gain. Thank you, Mayor.
Councilman Curtis.
Thank you, Mayor. First, I want to say Happy Women's History Month to everyone. Also, I just want to say thank you to all the veterans that served and helped protect our country, but a special thanks to the Vietnam vets, because I know it was very unpopular when you were serving. Y'all did not get that welcome home like many of our vets do now, or that support. So thank you for your sacrifice and your services. I want to say congratulations to everybody who received a promotion. There were several from the fire department. And I just want to say thank you everybody for attending tonight, and I hope the best and enjoy the rest of your month.
Councilman Mack.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to echo the sentiments of my fellow councilmen, but also I would especially like to recognize our fire department, because we're always seeing promotions and growth within that department. So it says a lot that they retain people and they're doing great work. to promote from within. And I'm just hoping that we can fill those positions that they're being promoted from with people that have the work ethic and the integrity that they've displayed in order to be promoted. And also Mr. Jordan, grounds maintenance, congratulations as well. And to our veterans, salute our veterans. I don't speak much on it, but I know some of the sacrifices that you've made because I personally made them, but nothing can compare to what a Vietnam veteran has gone through. When I joined the military in 1988, there was still some Vietnam veterans serving, some old sergeant majors, some 30-year vets, and they sat young soldiers out in the middle of the night. I remember in Fort Knox, Kentucky, just to see through the windows of their soul, their eyes, and what they've endured, you can't compare. There's nothing that you can imagine that can compare to what those guys went through being separate and apart from their families. They have to come back here and not be treated with the glory and respect that they deserve. So enough, there can't be enough being said about that. But I promise you this, when it's all said and done, you'll be pleased because I think we all want to see this done. I don't think there's anybody here that does not want to see it done. It's just that we got to get on the same page and make it happen sooner than later. Thank you.
Councilman Bibb.
Here we go, bibbity bib bib.
Mayor, same thing, just, we all know, we've lived this and seen it year after year. Yeah, my dad was a Vietnam vet, heard the stories, listened to him, and you're right, we didn't get to welcome home. This needs to be honored. Again, I want to say that I'm not big on the company. I didn't even know the company's name, couldn't even remember the name that actually built the plans.
Yeah, Why would you feel the need, bibbity bib bib, to reiterate in your closing comments that you don't even remember the name of the company, that you're not big on the company that made the most beautiful plans you have ever seen in your life? Why do you feel the need right now to shoehorn in that you weren't big on the company now that Madam Mayor has completely exposed the agenda, that this whole stall tactic was about making sure that that particular company that you can't remember gets the contract? Why do you feel the need to reiterate that right now in your closing comments, bibbity bib bib? Just, it's a question. Anyway, let's keep going with what he has to say.
I couldn't even remember the name that actually built the plans. And again, I apologize for Vietnam vets that didn't get to see those plans because they are absolutely gorgeous. And I'll say that again. They were beautiful. I'm sorry that the mayor didn't get to see them. I hope she does, but that is a beautiful, beautiful monument.
The Mona Lisa is very beautiful. Da Vinci did that. Ode to Joy is very beautiful. Beethoven did that. Doctor Strange 2 is very beautiful. Sam Raimi did that. Typically, when people are overwhelmed by beauty, they remember the artist, but except for bibbity bib bib. Anyway.
And I hope we can move through all this red tape and get it done. We can all applaud together that, because I think a lot of us are going at each other thinking that people don't want to get this done, and I don't think that's the case at all. Unfortunately, government sometimes is not fun to deal with, and that is the truth. And just because somebody donates a piece of land, in everybody's mind, you just think you can put something up, but that's not the case. You don't know if that land percolates. You don't know why that land's being given away to begin. There's more to it than somebody just giving away a piece of land. And there's a lot of thought that has to go into that. Road, is the land good enough? There's a lot more behind the scenes.
Yeah, we know there's a lot going on behind the scenes. That's the problem, And if you think that we, the people, don't understand, after watching the city council and the rest of these Wartown Times episodes, that it has absolutely nothing to do with contracts and campaign financiers and a cabal, then you take us for fools. Okay, that's why it sucks to deal with government, is because there's too much happening behind the scenes. So it's like, all right, whatever, dude. How long did it take for Buc-ee's to get built? Okay. Anyway, let's keep listening to this bibbity bib bib.
For myself, I want to see this get done. I don't want to sit up here and talk and say all this is money going here, and then 7 years later the same stuff. I think enough people have done a lot of talking about this, and I want to see it move forward and get done. So thank you for allowing me to serve. I'm going to walk out this door, not because I'm being mean or ugly, but my wife has had surgery. She has not had a very good day of it. And so I'm going to go home and be with her. Thank you for allowing me to serve.
You're dismissed, Councilman Bibb. Councilman Lashley, sorry, Councilman Lawrence.
Sorry about that. Anyway, this whole excuse of my wife had surgery, so I'm going to jet out of here. All right. It's like, if it was that dire of a situation, why did you even show up? I'm sure it could wait for another few minutes, but it's like, I think that the exit stage, right from his point of view, is probably because he senses that something's coming and it's been very uncomfortable for him and his cohorts during this city council meeting, and that's why he had to jet before the hammer drops in a few minutes. But whatever. And I'm going to cut Madam Mayor some slack because this is like her second time at a city council meeting behind the big chair. I think it was the second time. Pretty early in the game for her. If it had been me and a city council member got up and said they were leaving before I excused them as the chair, I would have had Sergeant Wilcox arrest them right on the spot. It's very disrespectful, but anyway, that's just me. But I don't know. It's like he had to leave before this could conclude. So why is that? I don't know. Let's see how it plays out and see if there is any motivation why somebody like Bibbidi Bib Bib would want to exit stage right before the conclusion of this city council meeting.
Thank you. So, just a couple things. I know Mr. Mendel came in and spoke, and I'm sure many people feel like he does. There has been a lot of things involved. The pieces of donated land were not necessarily donated. They're donated with the agreement that roads would be paved, which was not really a sticking point at the moment. But one of the issues, once we decided to move across over there next to Bucky's, was that it's not in our utility service area. So it took, I don't know, Mr. Holmes, you might could help me with this, but it took a year or two to negotiate with the city of Fort Valley as we were trying to negotiate the Bucky's deal. We finally got that done. That took forever. And then we assumed that we had that piece of land right next to Bucky's, and we were going to pave the road, I think, 250 feet, and then
All right, I'm going to go ahead and cut Lortzen off because he seems to be the word salad chef of the team. And anyway, what's he talking about building roads? Where's this road thing coming from? Anyway, let's get to Character Lashley's thing.
Also, National Women's Month. That's every month at my house. I have a lot of women in my house. I even have 2 female dogs, so I am about 5th in the pecking order, or 6th, actually.
So many punchlines, so little time. This does explain some things, though. You guys Pink Floyd fans, you know the school teacher and why he treats the students so bad and abuses his authorities in the school with the school children? Pink Floyd's The Wall. Check it out.
It's an honor to see that we live in a society that celebrates our women. Celebrates all of us, really, but celebrates our women particularly in the month also. Lord knows none of us would be here if it wasn't for our mamas. So, other than that, I'd like to see things move along and get going on this project. My main concern is that we quit wasting money for needless reasons.
That's right, Character Lashley. You did waste a lot of money. Our money. $192,000 of our money. For doodles.
And with that, that's it for tonight. Thank y'all.
All right, now it's time for Mayor's comments. Sergeant Wilcox, can you come get this stack of paper for me and put it down there on that table, if you don't mind? So I'm going to talk about something a little bit different.
So apparently there's more going on with that stack of paperwork than at first we thought. And Madam Mayor is calling Sergeant Wilcox over to pick up that God-sized stack of paper, and it's going to take Sergeant Wilcox to do that, because look at the guns on that cop, and I mean literally. Now, let me make a comment about Sergeant Wilcox real quick. You know, I have known him a long time. As a matter of fact, I've known Sergeant Wilcox since I started doing activism here in Wartown, and if there's anything that I know about him, it's this. He is an impeccable example of what a peace officer is supposed to be. In my many interactions with him and discussions about the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, he has demonstrated time and time again that he knows the difference between law enforcement and being a peace officer, and that it's not about putting people in cages for victimless crimes for revenue generation, rather than protecting the civil rights of every individual in the community. So next time you happen to go into City Hall to pay a utility bill or do business there, please give Sergeant Wilcox a fist bump and tell him thank you for being a shining example of what we, the people, want behind the badge. So Shout out to Sergeant Wilcox. Thank you for being a great American and a wonderful peace officer. Let's keep going.
It is Women's History Month, so I think many people have already said congratulations. Me being a woman, serving here as the first elected woman to sit in this seat, I don't take my task lightly. I've worked very hard to get here. I've studied politics since I was in college, so I've been preparing for this for a very long time. But I know many women in the room who have advanced professionally have likely dealt with some challenges. They've dealt with some hurdles, some discrimination even, some maltreatment often, and I'm not exempt from this. So I too have had challenges since I've sat in this seat. The good news is that the staff, the directors, they're all amazing, and I've gotten nothing but support from all of them. So I thank them for that. And my first 2 months, now going on my third month, has been amazing. I have thoroughly enjoyed my job. I've enjoyed my duties. I work extremely hard. Someone mentioned that the mayor's position for our city should be part-time. I have no idea how that could ever be so, because I work just as hard as our staff. I'm not digging the ditches as our essential workers are doing. I'm not out there fighting crime and chasing criminals. And I do respect each of them for those jobs, because LaRhonda Patrick could never do it. But I do have a different task, and mine is very wearing as well. But as going through the different challenges that I've had, I've been subject to bullying tactics too, even sitting here in this chair. For example, the big, huge stack of paper, can you guys see that? That huge stack of paper was somebody's bullying tactic to pull all of the emails that I've sent since I've been here, since I got email access, which I guess started in, I don't know if it's November or December, but it's on there. One of our council members wanted to pull this to see all of the emails. So I've only sent about 40, but this is where your tax dollars are going, to pull all of my emails for whatever reason. So you can look at it as you'd like. I've only sent about 40 emails, so feel free to look through. I'm making it public record. It is public record, actually. And I also have some other bullying tactics, like recording all of the meetings I'm ever in. I don't think any other mayor before me ever was tasked with dealing with these types of bullying tactics, but I have. And typically, I don't complain. And I'm not complaining now. I'm only bringing light to the things that are left unsaid. So maybe next time, our council will not, this particular person will not waste taxpayer dollars to pull emails that mostly come from invitations and congratulations and constituent questions. And I don't send many emails. I mostly pick up a phone and I call, or I go and talk to my directors, and I think they all can attest to that. So I just wanted to make sure I kind of, and honor Women's History Month and the challenges that women have gone through in history that allowed us to do things like sit in a seat such as this. That struggle is not being unnoted by me or other women in this audience, and that's what this month is about, recognizing that there was a struggle for women. The door was not wide open for us, and there were glass ceilings to be broken, and we've broken those. So I commend all of our women out there, our mothers, our single mothers, our working mothers, our stay-at-home mothers, our individuals who aren't mothers, but they are climbing the corporate ladder or doing whatever it is that their skill is. I just commend you on whatever you're doing, however you're doing it, because there was a time when we were only to have babies and fix food and clean the house. So in honor of Women's History Month, I salute all of the women out there. Thank you and have a great night.
And this is why I support Madam Mayor LaRhonda Patrick, because of her style, her class, and her execution and things like this, making us aware of what's going on behind the veneer of civility and how our taxpayers' dollars are being wasted by stupid stunts like this. Like, which one of these douchebag council members is responsible for having a newly elected mayor's emails pulled within 2 months? Like, what were you expecting to find? What could this have possibly been other than a bullying and intimidation tactic? And like, she's right. how many other mayors have been subjected to having their conversations recorded? So I think it would be neat if the council member responsible for this buffoonery made themselves known and gave an account to us so that we could have a redress of grievances. I wonder which one of these city council members it could have been that did all of these things. You tell me who you think it was in the comments below.
Meeting is adjourned.
And just as Madam Mayor adjourns the meeting, from stage left comes a devilishly handsome and well-dressed vigilante who shall remain nameless for the time being. So that's all the time we have for the Wartown Times. I want to thank you for joining me and reviewing this fictional account of this city council thingy in this fictional town. We hope that you like, share, and subscribe. Stay informed and pay attention, as Madam Mayor has requested us to do. We look forward to bringing you episode 6, which will be the finale of this season of the Wartown Times. We're going to wrap this whole thing up, put a bow on it, and see what we can glean from all of this, like what all this was about and where it could potentially go in the future. So, again, I thank you, and please stay informed, get involved, do your due diligence. I mean, it's your community. Take part. So, until next time, I wish all of you a fair adieu, and stay well. Beep, 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 beep. Live from Wellston, Georgia, it's another episode of the Wartown Times.